I was listening to the story about, it was a story of a family in Washington, and the little boy called the Bigfoot the Cowboy Man. And he had, apparently it had made an effort to steal this kid. And it hit me. My children were in that playpen behind me with nothing but a mosquito net over them. It could have crept up behind me and taken both of my children, and I wouldn't have known.
His father just got like a Mustang or something from Wyoming, okay? He had it out in the corral because he couldn't put it in the barn in the stalls with the other horses because it would kick and made all the other horses nervous. Had a Seminole Indian working the horse trying to break it every day. So they had it out in the corral. This skunk ape snuck up behind this horse and grabbed it on its hind quarters. This particular horse kicks out, jumps over the corral, runs into the pasture, to get away. At this point, the rancher's out there just blasted away with the dirty. Skunk ape runs into the swamp.
I went up there one day after that, or 2 days after that. I went up there and sat in the silence up there, and I'm telling you, man, it was free. It was crazy. There was a crazy vibe up there still. I did what I could to kind of get things under control, but I told her, I said, you need to get off this property. I feel like no matter how strong you are, it's almost like standing in the ocean. You can't stand still without moving your feet. You're going to get knocked over eventually, no matter how strong, whatever. You can't withstand a barrage of weird spiritual energy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Paranormal Odyssey. You guys helping us make history. First ever double header. I'm Wayne, your host, joined, as always, by my great friend, partner in crime, Miss Tiffany. What's up, ma'am?
Oh, as always, glad to be here with you. Hanging out. Making history, gracing the screens of hundreds and hopefully thousands of people.
Millions of people.
Millions. Let's just speak it into existence. Millions of people.
Not only that, but I hit y'all with a little Bigfoot show earlier today. Shared a few stories. True story. When I woke up this morning, I had no idea I was going to do that.
Well, and some of those are the best things. If you overthink something, it comes out crappy. But if you just wake up and do it, and you do it, they're great.
Life lessons from Tiffany.
Just do it, like Nike.
You doing okay, ma'am?
I am. We had a pretty busy. I won't say busy. Cooper's just been Cooper, and yesterday was really busy. So we just kind of did house stuff today. But it's been so nice. I got to ride with the windows down today. It was 47 degrees. So we had the windows down and the music up, and I'm like, yes.
I don't even think I went outside today. So I don't know if it's cold here or not.
Yeah. It's supposed to be, y'all, it's supposed to be 50 tomorrow. I'm so excited.
50's good.
50's very good compared to the 19 degrees it was last week.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Excited about this first show. We got Miss Crystal Blevins backstage. She is a Paranormal Odyssey veteran now. She's been here a couple of times. She did an investigation last night. She was at the Maggie Mansion in Nashville. Her partner in crime, Miss Shannon, was supposed to be on with her, but Shannon started feeling a little under the weather and had to leave. So just going to be Crystal tonight, but going to be a good show. Got some pictures to share with y'all from the investigation last night. But before we get to any of that, we got to pay some bills.
Let's do it.
Guys, if you're new to the show, we are certainly glad to have you. Please do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button before you leave.
And if you would like to be on with Wayne and myself, you can reach out to us, Wayne at paranormalworldproductions.com, or me, Tiffany at paranormalworldproductions.com, and we can get you on the schedule. We have 1 day left for February, and then we're moving into March. So if you have an encounter, shoot us an email.
Right. ParanormalWorldProductions.com is our website. It's the studio's website. You can go there, check out all the other shows, pick you up some merch, sign up for the Bigfoot newsletter, all of that amazing stuff. Head over to ParanormalWorldProductions.com.
And if you have any questions for our lovely guest, please just put them in all capital letters. I snatch them up during the show. We do a rapid fire Q&A at the end of the show. And with this investigation still being so fresh, she's not going to have forgotten anything. So get your questions in all capital letters, please.
All right. Want to invite everyone to check out my group's new website, Manimal Research. Miss Chris Blaylock has got that up and going. She's the administrator of the site. She is in charge of all of it, doing an amazing job. Mr. Goonie Goo Goo, thank you, sir, for that super sticker. You're awesome, buddy. But yeah, if you want to get some information about becoming an investigator with my organization, I'd love to talk to you about that. We have a camp out scheduled for mid-March. We just did one a couple months ago, and going to do a couple more before our big Squatch out in September. So we would love to have you come on board. If you're interested, go to manimalresearch.org. All right. I want to talk a little bit about our memberships. They are still up and going. They always will be. It's $1.99 a month if you would like extra content, early access to content, members only Discord. We do members only lives, all of that good stuff. Like I said, it's just $1.99 a month. The join button should be right beside the subscribe button. Hit that, and we will take care of you. And last, get to. Oh, go ahead. What you got?
I was gonna say, I think we should do like this February free for all, and do like a giveaway in February.
Let's do a giveaway in February.
I think we should. I've been thinking about this since Christmas. I just think we should do a February free for all, and then do the giveaway to our, put our current members on there and any, people who join the membership. I think we should.
Yeah. I mean, February is without a doubt the best month of the year. It's been proven time and time again. And you got that holiday on the 20th, National Wainer Day.
And Valentine's Day.
No, National Wainer Day. That's the big one in February. Don't forget about that. But yeah, I think that's a good idea. We will get that up and going, get you guys some details soon.
Yes.
But what I was going to say before I was so rudely interrupted.
Love you, mean it.
At the bottom, you see the Cash App and the Venmo. You guys have been helping us out. That avenue, we appreciate that so very much. Mr. Scott Trent, last week, I didn't see it during the show, but I saw it afterward. He hit us with $100.
Yep.
So thank you very, very much. You're the man, dude. I appreciate that so very much. It's very much appreciated. I messaged him personally, the next day when I saw it and thanked him. But it was awesome. We know not everybody can do that, but if you're in a position to help, we would appreciate it. None of this stuff is free. YouTube loves their fees. That's the reason we started doing this. They were taking like 30-35% of what we were making, and we need it more than they do. I mean, to be honest. So if you guys can help us out that way, we certainly appreciate it. You don't have to. We love you anyway. And
thank you to Joe Pat for that 10 spot that came through our Venmo that night also.
Absolutely. Joe Pat sent a 10 that same night. I didn't realize it was the same night, but yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Thank you guys. We appreciate that so much. All right, you got anything else before we get to our guest?
No. Let's get this doubleheader started.
I am ready. I don't know if she is. She's waving her hands frantically.
I think she's trying to clean her camera.
Give me a thumbs up if you're ready, Crystal. There we go.
Okay.
What's up, ma'am?
Hey, I'm just trying to figure out all this in a strange environment.
You're at the Airbnb, right?
Yeah, it's like it's horse stalls, but it's turned into an Airbnb.
That's cool.
So it's a little different. They were owned by, I think, Reba McIntyre is what they were saying at some I guess is what the deal was. And there's no light in here, so I'm trying to get everything set to where you can see me. Hopefully
No,
you can see me.
you look good.
There's only where to go but the bed. So I'm like on the bed now.
Not everybody can say they slept in Reba McEntire's horse's house.
I know. And this is like the Tom Jones room.
Even better.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm upstairs in the loft that's where I was at last night before she got sick. It's really cool up there. But
so, like, what's the square footage roughly? Because I'm trying to picture this horse stall as the
it's
house.
not very big. I mean, they've got several of these little rooms, but I mean, can you see that? That's it.
Oh, really? And there's an upstairs?
And there's a little loft upstairs. It's got a bed and like a little bench, and then kind of like a little table bar where you can see down to the TV and like down here.
That's so cool. They're making
it really is. It's cozy if the heat would just stop going off. That's the only thing.
Not this last year, but the year before, the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot conference. Last year, Tiffany and I, we got a cabin with a bunch of people. But the year before, I rented through Airbnb a vintage Airstream. And that was cool as hell.
Yeah, I did that last year when I went to Kentucky to do a little me trip to see a friend. And then I took her kid to a battlefield. You know, we could do a little first investigation. But it was right on the West Virginia line. So I was like, yeah, well, I was by myself. And I kept thinking, this don't go well in the movies. You know, a girl with the West Virginia line in a camper. But here we go. And it was a vintage. It was so cute. It was like a blue and white little vintage camper. Yeah. It was cute.
Yeah.
Cozy.
I love that they're doing that. I when I'm looking for a place on Airbnb, that's what I usually look for, something unique and.
Well, this is unique. And then on the property, they have like tiny homes that are like triangles, and they got those like I guess they're cabins. They look cute.
No A-frame houses.
Do what? Sorry.
A-frame houses.
Yeah, kind of like that, but they're tiny. They're probably smaller than this. They're cute. And then of course tonight they've got, when I wrap this up, they've got a singer-songwriter night where like people that wrote songs are here singing, and like you can eat and everything. So yeah.
When we get done, send me the link.
I will.
Yeah. I would love to check that out. And it's in Nashville, right?
Gallatin. It's always before you get to Nashville, kind of off the beaten path, but it's like 20 minutes. No, I don't even know if it was that far to Maggie last night. So
Kevin
it wasn't far.
I think Kevin lives in Gallatin. Wow, small world. Anyway, sorry, I had a brain fart there.
I'm just hoping these lights stay on here because it's dark. So bear with me. I mean, I'm still talking, but you know, if it gets dark,
you're good.
You're in the dark in the bed with me at that point. So,
oh, Lord, then it did this a whole nother show.
It's a completely different show at that point.
There's nowhere to sit. There's not like a table or anything. So I'm just trying to make it work.
All right. As we mentioned before, you've been here a couple times. Awesome to have you back. You have a standing open invitation to come back anytime. You know that. But tonight we're here to talk about the investigation that you just did. You want to tell us a little bit about what you guys got into last night?
Yeah, I mean, I always go into my investigations. I don't do research prior to, because I just want to see kind of what I get. Even when they're telling the history, I'm kind of like, la, 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 you know, I don't want to hear. So I was going completely blind. It's my first time. There was just a small group of us. I mean, there might have been, I don't know for sure, maybe 10, 11. So your chances of having anything tainted is a little slimmer with a smaller group like that. It's a beautiful old home. I believe they said it was from the 1800s. Like I said, I didn't listen to a lot of the history, and I haven't brushed up on it because I haven't had time. But it's just a beautiful, beautiful home. But we rotated in like hours, and then we had a little bit of free roam, and I ended up in the attic by myself.
So, Christopher, you know, I've never done these before. I'm brand new at this stuff. For people like me, when you go to something like this, okay, it was you and your friend Shannon. You said there were a couple other people there. Mm-hmm. Do y'all get together and pay a fee to the homeowner? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, this was kind of labeled as an event. A lot of these historical places are trying to preserve the location. So the money's going back into the location. Of course, I believe this home is owned by a family. They were there. They were absolutely amazing. So much fun. It was a couple ladies, a mother-daughter kind of thing. Every location I go to like that, that's kind of what it is. It's geared towards saving and preserving the location. I've been to some that needed a whole lot of saving and almost dangerous. This one, no danger. It's just, just keeping it going, just keeping it alive. It has to be expensive. Don't quote me on the fee. I think she said it was like $500 a night, but you have the whole house and you can sleep there. It's just like it's like a hotel.
Oh, you can sleep there. And is that 500 for multiple people?
Multiple people.
Oh, hell. That's not bad.
It wasn't bad at all. Before I left, I was like, we're getting together and doing an all-girl slumber party here real soon because it's just perfect for like an all-women's night. I mean, it's just this beautiful old mansion and antiques and ghosts. I mean, I like it.
That is awesome.
I like the idea of it, but...
So if you get it, like you said, an all-girl slumber party, are y'all the only ones there? There's no security?
No. I mean, if these people trust you, of course you sign. I'm sure they had to sign something. Like it was being run by some friends of mine that are they're the ones who kind of host the events there. I'm assuming. And so we have to sign like a waiver with them because if you go to an event, you have to say, if I do something stupid and I die, that's on me. But yeah, they leave you. It's like any of these locations. If you spend the night, usually they leave you. I've not been to one yet that you actually slept at, that they stayed on the property, but I'm sure there are some. This
so
one,
you've been to some before that you slept overnight?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I think you can do that at the South Pittsburgh Hospital, right? Or you used to could.
You can stay, hours overnight. Whether you sleep or not, that's on you. There's nowhere to sleep. I mean, you might be able to pull up a floor and grab a blanket, but that place, however, has beds and showers and bathtub. I mean, it's actually a pretty good deal.
Oh, so it's got like electricity and running water. It's like a running house. Yeah.
So when you look at the pictures and the little slightly short video, so you didn't have to see all the pictures. Like boom, I just put them in one video. It's just a beautiful house.
Well, that wasn't a good one to start with.
That was the attic where I was at, so it was kind of dark.
Oh, that is pretty.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. I'll be back. I mean, I'm definitely after last night. So
it's really pretty.
Yeah,
but it's so it's and then on top of that, I don't know if the owner actually does this for everybody, but like we had food, we had lamb and chicken and pita bread and wine, and it was, I mean,
that's
all
nice.
that I paid personally was $60. It was a $60 donation to the house, and I got all of it. So,
You get the food and everything.
Yeah, and drinks, and they had wine, and they had like a little coffee and soda, and I think there was some. I can't say this word. I've never been able to Kahlua. You know what I'm talking about?
Kahlua.
That like liquor creamer.
Yeah.
I can't say. So things like that. So it was set up nice, and it's you got your heat and your air and your food and your water, your bathrooms, your showers, your bed, your spirits. It's great. Spirits in a bottle. Spirits hovering over you.
Let's talk about some of these, some of the stuff that happened. Was it a pretty eventful night?
It was. Of course, there was no one there that wasn't a seasoned investigator. So that was a good thing. We all vibed well. We all worked well together. But when you have that kind of energy, it's going to go crazy. If you got people who are used to this and have all this energy about them, it's going to get crazy. And it was a good night. I mean, I didn't have one rotation that we didn't have something. So I'll call it a success.
Now, what is a rotation, Crystal?
A rotation, if you're at an event, now if I was in there by myself, there would be no such thing. I would go wherever I wanted to go, free roam all night long, which is amazing. But when you're at someone's event, there's rules, but you do a rotation so that everybody can have the same amount of time in each part of that location. So they break it up into little quads by an even number of people, and you're with a team member. Usually at these events, there's some people who's never investigated. So that's the purpose of that. But last night, since we're all season, they all got to skip this is what this equipment does, and this equipment, this is what this is. So they got to, skip like 15, 20 minutes of just talking, and we got straight into it, like every rotation. Rotations went over because nobody wanted to leave their location in that rotation because they were getting stuff. So we ran over the time that we were supposed to be there, but that's okay. I didn't complain.
When you say getting stuff, what do you mean? What were y'all getting?
I don't know what everybody else was getting because, like I said, everybody was getting so much, and then it got to that point where we had to leave, and then we didn't really get to have a moment where we got to talk about it. But us personally, it was me and Shannon and another lady named Krista. So there was only 3 of us to want to invest. So that's really nice. Like, that's a good number if you're going to do an event per rotation. And first place we went was an upstairs. Of course, me being sensitive and things that I do. One of the seasoned investigators there, who was the one who, they're the team, they're my friends that actually go there a lot. So she's familiar with everything there. And she's like, I just want you to take my hand and you show me where you're wanting to go, where you're being pulled. I took her right to the spot that she has personal experiences. And we had a moment, like, I think we were both crying. And there was a lot of loneliness up there. There was a female presence. This is the first things I was feeling.
Is this the room right here, Crystal?
That is the room.
Okay.
Yeah. So everything and I'd never been there. I had not even talked to this woman about this stuff, but everything I said, she would just like stop and look at me. She's like, yeah, that's it. That's it. And so we were, we do like a little, if you're doing like a spirit box session, all that really is a little radio that you can either sweep backwards or forward, slow or speed it up, and you pay attention. And it's like scanning radio stations, but the idea is that a spirit will manipulate it enough to where they can say words through it. It's kind of like using the radio waves to come through. You got to pay attention. But Shannon had hers out. We were just going to do a little bit box session, and she had it on AM. Just the AM. I prefer AM too, because you're not going to get as many stations that could be fake, fake evidence or whatever. So it hit this jazz station, like a 20s jazz music, out of nowhere, and would not let me. I couldn't get it to sweep by hitting the sweep button. Sweep meaning, run the stations, and she couldn't get it to. And I told her, because, I don't talk about my gifts much, but I said, you're going to have to leave it there, because that's what she wants. She wants that music. And immediately everything went up. I mean, up. Things were happening. We were all getting emotional. A person like the other female that really doesn't consider herself was even seeing visions. I mean, she was calling out stuff. So, excuse me there for a second. My phone is acting funny. So that was the first round. Then I was like, well, it's going to be a good night. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good night. That was one bedroom, and it was supposed to be like the kid's bedroom, but the theory was, or the history tells you there wasn't any kids there, but I'm here to tell you that there was at some point. But that was this amazing start, first of all, but I felt I was overwhelmed right off the bat. And the more the night went on, everything came full circle. And I will get to that as I hit every room, but everything came completely full circle by the end of the night. So we were all just in awe, like, this is amazing. We actually got this. Then we rotated on down to, I'm sorry?
Is it typical to get that kind of experience right off the bat? Because you seem a bit surprised.
I I guess I was surprised because I'd never been there. We didn't know what I was expecting. I'm thinking, it's most places like that. You're going to get something, you know, but
Mhm.
that much, right? And when I say my gifts, that's not things I'm picking up on a radio. That's not something I'm getting on equipment. That's not something that's me. And I can't manifest that stuff in my head. So, um, I can't speak things that I'm feeling and seeing that someone else who's already been there, who's not talked to about it, also has experienced. Therefore, you can almost guarantee that that's legit. That's not a piece of equipment that some man made that's telling you there's a spirit. That's you. And when that happens, I know it's going to be a good night. But I was not expecting that. I'm not going to lie. I didn't know anything about this place. Most of these mansions, they alleged that they're haunted. They're on a mission to save their location. That was not the case. This place is 100% legit. So I was shocked. I'm still shocked.
Okay, your next rotation, where did you end up?
My next, let's see, where did we go next? This is why I need Shannon. My memory, I get caught up in it and I can't remember. So the next rotation was.
Was there a card table?
That was you was there, wasn't you?
I got gifts too.
Yeah. So that was like the parlor. So, like in the old houses, a lot of these old mansions, they had the parlor. That's where, you would entertain people. Typically in a parlor, you're going to have things like that, men gathered smoking cigars and playing cards. That's my idea of what goes on in a parlor.
Yeah.
I don't know. I carry cards with me as a trigger object when I go to certain locations. Those are my cards. I like to get them out. I like to, play cards with everyone there and kind of include any spirit that might be there that I'm picking up on. And it worked. So the spirit that we was getting upstairs, I completely left that part out. So there was a male entity there that I'm not going to say things because I don't do that. But I mean, I'll tell you personally, but I won't do it here. That wasn't as nice as some people would think. He wasn't as nice. He continued to follow our group around all night. We did get that. He did not like music, which I think was when the music started, the female that I referred to as being lonely suddenly felt safe. She suddenly felt relief. And we all felt relief. It was just like, it was weird. And I know I just scrolled right back upstairs again, and I'm sorry, but I left that part out. So we get down into the parlor here, and we were with the gentleman, the only man there all night. I'm just going to throw that in. He was the only investigator. We had one male, and he's great, but he's in there, and we're starting, and we're doing the card thing. Well, in real time, and I meant to send you that video, and I didn't, and I apologize. The bathroom door opens.
Oh shit!
It just opens. I'm like, oh, look at that, and I seen it first, and then they're, oh my gosh, and he said that happened earlier. That's weird. He said it just happened. I think he said it just happened once or whatever, and I was like, yeah, that's going to happen more than once, because at that moment I knew there was two men in that room with us, and the one in the bathroom was the same one that was upstairs, and the other one was a little different and a little protective. And it felt like they were having, in life, they probably had some issues. So there was one in the bathroom, but the door, we would shut it. We stomped the floor, we hit the walls, we done everything just to see if there was something maybe made it open, because you never know, little vibration in those old houses, a door can open. And a little draft, a door will open. But these are heavy doors. There's an old house.
Yeah.
So we shut it. Again, we're sitting there playing cards, and it come open again. And I said, you're just gonna, it's not gonna stay closed. It's just not personal. We shut it again. We did this for a little bit. I do have a video, but like I said, I thought I sent it, and I did not. I do apologize.
You sent a video, Crystal, but to be honest, on this platform, I have a hard time getting videos to play.
Okay,
so,
well that's fine.
Yeah.
But I did get it slightly, but in the moment I was just too caught up in it to just pick my phone up as our video, and so I got it for a little bit. But we sent the guy into the bathroom, and he had his little meter that kind of tests waves and electronic waves and things like that. He took it in there with him, and it's like a spike meter, so it's going to spike if there's something changing in the atmosphere as far as like electricity and waves and energy. So he steps in there, and I said, I just said it because that's what I do, and I tend to do that. I said, go toward the shower, head to the shower. And I wish we had it on video, but like I said, in the moment, I tend to get in the moment. He loudly said, "Oh my God, his things," but I think it spiked to like 57, and that's extremely high. 57, 58, extremely rare. It's rare. And of course, Shannon's laughing. She's like, "Oh, that's Crystal. that's what she does." And he was just, I was like, "Yeah, okay, now you need to back away from the shower." So we shut him up in there, and then he took he was doing voice recordings in there and was trying to get something on, live voice recordings, and we shut him up in there. So he comes back to the door, and it's now closed. This is when I started recording finally, and I had a little REM pod by the door. REM pod will set off if it just gets just a little close to it. It's going to go off, and it's by the door. And he comes back to the door. He's not touching the door, just to confirm. He's not. He's standing away from it. He did run his the device around the door. It was spiking around the door, but when he would step back, it wouldn't, because here come the door, and we're telling it, let him out. Open that door. Let him out. REM pod. Ding, 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 ding. Door opens.
Oh, God.
As if something walked to the door and opened it. Well, it opened just slightly, this. And Shannon said, "No, open it a little bit, just a little bit more. Push a little bit more." And you can see the door going just like that. So.
And that's on the video you sent me?
Yes, that is on the video. You'd have to be there to see the little tiny jolts, but in real life we all see it was just like it was a struggle, because these are spirits, their energy runs out, and they have a hard time. That's my theory. And it had been opening that and closing that door the whole time we've been in there, so the dude was getting tired, I guess. But there were two of them. There were two males. At one point, I had a K2 beside me. My phone stays on airplane mode. It should. You always put it on airplane mode to keep anything from being your false positives in your equipment. I had a smartwatch on, also on airplane mode, but to debunk it, because the K2 was spiking around me. It was just like all of a sudden just spiking. And I would tell before it happened, I'd be like, "Here, he's coming back. He's here. He's right here." The REM pod would be dinging over here. And then it was like enough time for something to walk behind me, and the K2 would go all the way up. And that was happening on point. So he's like, "You got a smartwatch on?" I said, "Yeah, it's on airplane mode, but I'm going to turn it off." So I turned it completely off, waved it around the device. Nothing's going on. I did it before I turned it off, and then waved it around. Nothing was happening, period. And all of a sudden, spiked to red again. And this is just random. We wasn't even trying to get it to go off. It just did it. That was happening. It had a lot, and I think even he was surprised at how much compared to maybe the first rotation. But we'd already pissed that spirit off upstairs. He was already mad. But I'm pretty sure that was still him too. So
now this room downstairs, I had this picture up. What are those spots? Those star-looking things on the wall.
Yeah, that's a laser grid. So a laser grid, how we use a laser grid is, it's just that. It's a grid of laser beams. And there's different settings, and you can make them smaller, larger. But if something walks, if you were to walk through a laser grid, it'll blank out, it'll, wherever you walk, those lights will go out. You can literally, if there's a spirit there, like a shadow will cast on it, and those lights will go out as it walks across it, just as if you are. And you have to be watching it constantly. You have to be really paying attention, but sometimes it's just blatant and it's there. But, that's, I like to set them up too. And we had them in a lot of different rooms. And It's just another thing that we can use to maybe that the naked eye can't see, but you can see it with a laser grid because it breaks that light.
You get a lot of results from it usually.
I have had the best laser grid results at Waverly and Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. Those are the two places because there's long hallways and there's known to be shadows that walk. I have had at Waverly Hills. The last time I was there, it stood in the middle of the grid. It walked. You've seen it walk to the middle and just black it out as if it was just a tall person standing there. You could not see the laser at all. And then it just walked away.
And can I
But it
just
stood there for a good 2 minutes.
Can I just interrupt you for a second?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, because you just had an orb float right in front of you when you were talking about that.
Yeah, it won't leave the heat on either.
Yeah. So just
I thought I saw something earlier too.
Yeah. She's had orbs floating around her. I've been watching. I'm not creeping. You really do have things.
Honey, you ain't a creeper. I could tell y'all about that, but that's another story. But
do
yeah.
You notice that, but seriously, do you notice that a lot? Do you get shit like that when you're like away? You're not at a haunted house right now that we know of.
You don't have to be at you don't have to be in an alleged haunted location for it to be haunted. People have died everywhere. I'm in Nashville. Do you know the wars that have happened here? The forts that are here, the people that have died on all this land. It's
yeah, but what I'm saying is not everybody in Nashville right now has orbs floating around them. Do you think it's something about you?
It's a risk you take by being around me.
See, enough said. But that's what I was going to say, though, is because it's not just a building or a structure. When you look at everything that the buildings and the structures have been built on and all the history, like you said, that the land carries, and then you throw ley lines in there, they can just pop up anywhere.
I am, you have people who believe that spirits stay where they're at. You will never convince me of that. If I was a spirit, I'm not staying. I'm going to go. I'm a spirit. I can go anywhere I want to go. I can just be there. Spirits attached to people. That's a known fact.
And that's why I don't do what you do.
You're going to do it at least one time. I mean, it's just going to happen, and we're going to video it from the beginning to the end, and that's all there is to it.
I'm telling you, if I bring something home with me,
you won't. Okay. There's ways to not have something come home. You just gotta do it. I don't always do it, but
Okay, so where do y'all go from the parlor?
So from the parlor, we headed to like a back room area, and I had already swept through the house and took a look at everything between rotations because I was feeling a lot. That's the attic. That's where I'm getting to. So Shannon and I'm in there. She's lost me because that's also what I do. I wander off, and people lose me.
I lose people.
Well, no, I just get lost because I just want to go, and I'm not scared of stuff, so I'm just gonna go, and I go. So we go to this back room where I was in there first. I look up, and there's an attic. Pull down. Shannon knows me here. By that time, she's walking in, but she's like, "No, Crystal, no," because we were at Bruner Manor together a while back, which is in Morristown, and there was an attic, and there was no way to get in said attic. So we found the ladder, and the ladder wasn't as tall. I could, but she wouldn't let me. The woman was literally like, "No, you're not going." But I want to, and there's pictures of me trying to get in the attic, and she was not letting me. But she says, "No, you're not." I say, "Well, I mean, there's no sign that says I can't go to the attic." So actually, the woman who, luckily, that owns the home, she came in this rotation with us. Like I said, she was amazing. And I was like, "About that attic." She said, "Oh, you want to go?" Yeah, I do actually. So I go. It's one of those, you pull down the ladder. It's like this big, and When I saw that, I was like, well, I mean, I'm still going, but yeah. I'm not going to break it. Like, what is this? But I get up there. It's dirty. You saw the picture. There's broken glass. But she was telling me that window, and there's a window on those pictures, is original to the home. Like, they've done that one. They've done a lot of work, obviously, to the home, but that's one of the original glass windows that hadn't never been broken or anything.
Wow.
Historically, they believe, and they put together that was slave quarters or servant, or like that's where those servants would sleep, was in the attic. And in that portion of the home that used to be, I believe they said, the kitchen or part of the kitchen, but it was like an off to the side. So that's kind of where the servants would sleep. Which was kind of, and it wasn't known to me, or, like I said, I didn't know anything about it. I asked questions after, and it wasn't known to me until after, and everything that happened in that session again lined up with that exactly. So I go to the attic, and I decided I was going to do an Estes. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
There we go. Yes, I am. That's probably my favorite one.
I love the Estes method.
Yes, so I'm like, that's what I'm doing. And I was like, I'm not here to tell you. I have noise canceling headphones, and we're doing this. And I'm going up there. And so the girl that owns it, she's like, what are you doing? So we did that. And I get up there, and it was just, it's tiny, it's dusty, and I picked a bad night to wear all black. But yeah. And I get them on, I get everything situated, and they were asking questions. I couldn't hear them. I couldn't hear anything. I've got some of the best noise canceling headphones on the market. And they were asking, they said, like, who's the president? And I won't drop the F-bomb on your show, but I said it, and I heard it. It said, like, effing Lincoln.
Fucking Lincoln.
We know what time period, we know what he did,
Yeah.
Then I was hearing like multiple voices, but it was things like the tree, it breaking, like something was being hung from a tree. Well, I'm not going to go into that either, but we know, kind of where that's going. There was a spirit in there that was very angry and bitter. And the girl that owns it, she's like, yeah, he's here all the time. I hate him. Like, he's awful. He's all, like, she's familiar with him. She's like, he hates music. And that, like I said, things started coming full circle. I was like, he what? Because what happened upstairs. We played music, and we had like tripwires at the door, and they were the light only changed. Tripwires also, I forgot, left that out. You can see something, if something's walking over it, the light will go off, or it'll change. All those lights were the same color except right by the door. And that one light was blue, as if something was standing on it or by it, because he couldn't come in there. He wouldn't come in there when that music was playing. Like I said, it started coming full circle, and I was like, say that again. And she's like, oh, he hates music. She's like, I can literally hear him stomping away when I play my music. I'm like, oh. So we were, there was so much anger coming through. It was just, I was saying a lot of stuff. And I kept hearing Bible, get the Bible. I was saying Job, like from the Bible. That's where it came from. And then all these numbers was coming through, and the number kept 7. I was like, I was hearing 7. So someone gets a Bible or pulls up, maybe, I guess, an app. I don't know. It wasn't down there, and looked up Job 7, and I don't have it in front of me because I'm on my device there. But what they read to me, what they read was insane. And it even brought up the word enslavement. Basically, they want to die. Their life is terrible. In the Bible, it's in Job 7, and I'm even getting chills thinking about it. But
Tiffany's looking it up right now.
Yeah, and I don't know, like,
okay, so
when she read that to me, I was almost in tears.
Is it chapter 7 or was it verse 7? Because there's
7 what?
No, it was 7, because that's the only number I was getting, and she went right to it. I'm assuming chapter 7, maybe, or
okay,
it might be 7 because I didn't look into it because I was up there. But
okay, she'll look for it.
While she does that, I'm going to see if this thing's going to charge.
So you're sitting there blindfolded and got the headphones. Right.
blindfolded because I was up there by myself.
Okay.
So, and it was dark. So I didn't, the light from the window was coming in. That was about it. But usually I would be blindfolded, but it was dark and there was nobody up there but me.
You got something, Tiff?
I do. It is Job 7. Do not mortals have hard service on earth? Are not their days like those of hired laborers, like a slave longing for the evening shadows, or a hired laborer waiting to be paid?
Are you fucking kidding me?
And it goes, if you go on, it gets worse.
Yes. I mean, I can continue.
It gets a lot worse.
Okay. So I have been allotted months of futility, and nights of misery have been assigned to me. When I lie down, I think, how long before I get up? The night drags on, and I toss and turn until dawn. My body is closed with worms and scabs. My skin is broken and festering. My days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle, and they come to an end without hope. Remember, O God, that my life is but a breath. My eyes will never see happiness again. The eye that now sees me will see me no longer. You will look for me, but I will be no more. As a cloud vanishes, and is gone, so one who goes down to the grave does not return. He will never come to his house again. His place will know him no more.
Oh my! And you heard Job and then 7.
And it was telling me to get the Bible, get the Bible. This was right after I was telling them, I was hearing, and like I said, they were asking the questions. And I heard, shut the door, lock the door. He's outside. Lock the door. This was a female coming through. And I didn't know. Well, apparently there was a picture on the wall down there. And the owner says, I've always hated that picture. And it's of a man. She takes it off the wall while I'm up there. I don't know any of this, and takes it outside, comes back in because she's like, I didn't know what else to take out there. Like I didn't know. I don't even know what I said to trigger her to do that. Cause like I said, it was all going so fast. And she said, so when I say lock it, she's like, I went over and locked the door. It's outside. And as soon as that happened, that's when I started saying, Job, get the Bible, Job 7, as if whatever was there, the man, the other, and it felt like enslaved people or, that kind of situation. They wanted him to stay out there. Yeah. I don't know. It was a lot. It was emotional almost, but
Yeah.
they were more emotional than me because they knew what they was asking and I was just hearing stuff, and then it just went radio silent. I was getting nothing.
So you were up there in the servant's quarter, and let's be honest, back then, servant was a slave.
Yeah.
And you are doing the Estes method, and I know we kind of went over it real quick, but you had the headphones on.
Yeah.
They were asking questions. You could not hear the questions, but you could hear like the radio static, and every once in a while words would come through, and you would repeat.
Yes.
So the ghosts were answering their questions in your ears, and you were saying them out loud.
Yes. I'm trying to get this phone plugged up. I'm sorry. I'm listening. It's just
you're fine.
It's telling me that I got moisture in it and I don't. So,
I mean, what other proof does somebody need that there are spirits?
That was intense. And when you're living it in real time, you can't even explain it if you want to. Not if it's real. I can't. You've got people who do hype this stuff up and their stories sound so great. And if they ever sound, and this was, I know that's what I'm sounding like, but it's not the case. But you're like, there's no way. But there was a way, and that was happening, and I was not expecting that, not at all. And Shannon had went outside, and I went out with her and came back in, and there's a picture on the wall. And I forgot another part too. I'll get back to, of a woman, and it's in the living room. And I was just sitting there just rambling on and, and talking about something that was in my personal life. And I was just talking to Shannon. And I thought, why is she not listening to me? She had that look like she wasn't listening to me. And I said, hello. And she said, I'm listening. She said, but the face on that picture of that woman, it just changed while you're talking. And I said, what? And she's like, yeah. And I turned around and it looked normal to me. I said, wait a minute, it changed. She said it went from what you see there while you're talking, and that woman in that picture looked dead. She said everything was like black on her eyes, and she looked like a corpse. I was like, well, that's cool, and I missed it. But she said, you were talking. Well, when I started looking at the picture, I was looking even closer, and I was like, Shannon, because again, we were in the parlor, because I kept feeling this way, is that I reminded that one of the men or both of the men of somebody they knew. I looked like somebody. I was familiar. Like they thought I looked like they thought I was somebody different, or maybe someone from that time or from that home. Who we don't have pictures other than these pictures that they've actually just picked up at random spots. You know, those pictures didn't come with the house. Which also leads you to, it may not have been anybody that even lived in the house. It could be off of one of those objects that you pick up at an antique store.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I looked at that picture and I was like, Shannon, tell me that woman doesn't look like me. And she's like, I can't. she's like, that's your nose. That's the shape of your eyes. Okay, I just wanted to confirm that. So that happened. But when we were in the parlor, though, we was doing the dowsing rods, or Vernon was, and I asked the question, like, do I remind you of someone? Do I look like someone? Why are you on me? Like, what is your deal? Like, step back. I got enough problems in my life. I don't need a spiritual man too, go away. And they said, the dowsing rod said yes. Okay. So Vernon says, well, could you point to the person in the room who looks like someone you know? Boom. Right to me. I mean, fast. Well, while I was holding them, and I closed the session completely out because I was like, you are just too much. So I'm holding the rods. I'm trying to talk. I can't get them to stop wrapping around me. We call those hugs because it's like something's opening up to hug you. They're both opening in the same way, as if someone is hugging you. They would not stop doing that. So I was like, yeah, I don't want to be hugged. I'm sorry. So I closed the session and passed them on, and that happened to no one else.
So that was the one you told me had a crush on you.
Yeah. I was like, it's either obsession or crush. I'm not sure, but he was not going to leave me alone. And it's not the same one that was in the attic.
He's sitting right beside you.
Do what?
He's sitting right beside you. I see him.
Not here, I hope, because it's cold enough in here without a dead man. But it was a great night. And I'll leave that at that. But I'm going back, and I welcome any. If you all want to go, we can set that up. So,
I want to go.
I mean, it's just. Tiffany, you would love it. I mean, just if you like mansions like I do, like those kind of mansions, the old, just the beautiful. It's right up every woman's alley, I would imagine. But
well, I would think so. Well, plus I'm pretty familiar with all of the devices and all of the stuff that y'all use, and
There's just
now, had I been there and stayed there all night, if I'd have been there sleeping, and I would have done what I do at every location that I'm sleeping that's haunted, and I would have set up equipment around in my room all night long. And I've done that, and many times, and sometimes nothing happens, and sometimes I can't sleep for it, and I have to get up and turn it off. So,
Crystal says Team Crystal is now Team Ghost Hug.
But I like Team Crystal better.
You could make T-shirts with Team Crystal, in the upper corner, and then the back of it could read Team Ghost Hug.
I'll go with that. Yeah.
All right. Well, we are right here at that hour mark, and we have several questions for you. If you're ready,
I'm ready.
And if you remember from before, this is kind of our rapid fire Q&A. We want you to answer, but just keep in mind we try to get through them pretty quick.
Do you want me to just shut up? Just say shut up, Crystal.
No, not at all. First off, again, thank you, Goony Goo Goo, for the super sticker. You're the man. Love you, buddy. Al Santoriga, what's up, my friend? I ain't talked to you in a while. Crystal, how many people in each group?
We just had 3, and then the investigator that was conducting the event. So 4, roughly, which was perfect. I mean, I go in these places alone, but
Yeah.
much I do. But 4
I
was
know
a great number.
No, you would. You ain't scared of shit.
No. Except spiders. I don't like spiders.
This one, Al got a little ahead of himself, so we'll just go ahead and take it off. He asked about the Estes method, and yeah, you did do it. We just finished talking about it. Robin said, did the Estes method ever use you or your energy to manifest? Do the entities, I'm sorry, ever use you or your energy to manifest?
It's okay. English is hard.
Yes, I mean, they do. I always welcome them to use my energy.
Reading's hard.
I welcome them to use my energy. I've only saw manifestations as far as full body apparitions. I've seen them a lot more this past year because I've started working on those gifts a little bit more. But prior to that, I mean, it's just not something you see a lot. But yeah, your energy is your best tool if you open up to it.
Okay. Good answer. Al, question, did you do any scrying that night? I don't know what that is.
I've only scried one time. I walked in behind at Octagon Hall once, a group that had been mirror scrying.
You stub your toe or something?
Scrying.
I be scrying, Wayne. I just be scrying and scrying.
I didn't mean to make you scry.
Scrying is when you can do scrying in different ways. You can mirror scry, which is using a mirror to kind of like the way I see mirror scrying is you kind of set up candles and you stare into the mirror and you can get things to come through that way. Kind of like using your energy. But you can also do it with paper. You can blindfold yourself. You can try to let it tap into your energy and use you and write words. If something's trying to talk, it can use your hand to write words. But I didn't do that. I've mirror scried one time, but I didn't mirror scry. I walked in behind a group that did mirror scry, and I looked in the mirror, which is why I take mirror selfies now. And I looked around because someone said my name, and when I looked around in my peripheral, I saw me looking at me looking around.
Yes.
And I was looking at me, but I wasn't. I was looking that way. And then when I looked back, that wasn't me. It was me, but it was me with a really, really weird smile on my face.
Oh, I'm so confused. It was me, but it wasn't me. But I was looking this way, but it wasn't me.
Honey, that makes perfect sense. I totally know what you're talking about.
Thank you. See?
I'm going to have to rewatch it.
So, do you think, in your opinion, because people say it all the time, and it doesn't matter which paranormal group you watch or investigate with, that mirrors are portals.
They are.
What I was going to ask you what your opinion was on that.
If there is anything on this earth that will open a portal, it is that.
Yeah.
And that's why we don't face them toward each other.
Exactly.
I mean, I tried a while back at a location because I was feeling froggy, and that happens from time to time. And they had said that there had been an alleged portal in that house, and I was like, "Well, we're just going to find out." And I found the best two. I found a mirror in the house, and I drug it in there. And they're like, "What are you doing?" "I'm going to open this portal. That's what I'm doing." And so I got out a little makeup mirror. It's all I had. I'm like little trying to do this. I'm like, "You've lost your mind." That's what happens at like 2 a.m. That's what happens. So we're going to go with it. But nothing happened. But I do believe if it's possible, that is the way to do it. It's just too much to back it up.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Yeah. And then, of course, you've got your Native Americans, I believe, that won't even look in a mirror because they don't want their picture made and all kinds of things because they feel like it traps their soul.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And Native Americans are pretty smart, They're on to something there. So,
yeah.
I believe it. Yeah. I want to see it, but, I didn't have any luck.
Buddy Troy in Tennessee, what advice would you give to someone that is having contact or being touched by a ghost that wants them out of their house? Please say something other than sage and pray.
You're going to sage and pray. You better be strong in your faith, is all I can say. There's a theory that if you tell a spirit to leave, it has to leave. That's a theory. I don't know. That's what they say. It's like if you leave a location and you don't want it to come, if you tell it to stay, it can't go. It's like there's a theory, there's some kind of rule in that realm. I don't know. I've never been in that realm. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say that, but I don't know the rule, but that's the theory, is that you can tell it to leave. I know myself had an attachment that I brought home from Waverly, and I know exactly where I brought it home from. And I tried everything. And the only thing I could think to do, and I did it, I said, "You're going with me. Like, get in the car. We're going for a ride." I didn't know what else to do. I get in my car and I drive all the way to Louisville. I stop at the gate at Waverly. I open my door and I say, "Get the fuck out. You're home." And I didn't have any more problems.
Oh my God.
So whether that was in here or a real, I don't know, but I didn't have any more problems with it. And when I say this was a bad spirit, I was done. Like, you've done enough. You know, I've been married. You're going home. So.
All right, this next one, Crystal, it's from Troy, and I want you to know that this is the first time I'm seeing this question. I did not tell him to ask, but here you go. Crystal, will you come to our Manimal Research outing at LBL in March? There are more than 272 cemeteries and 170,000 acres.
You act like I'm not coming or something. That's the plan. I do plan on coming, because when I heard that it was just all y'all Bigfoot people, and then we gonna find something, and it might not be Bigfoot.
That's fine. But yeah, Troy, Crystal and I have been talking about that for a little while. So yes, I think she's going to try to make an appearance. You're very, very welcome to. All right, moving on to Crystal. Crystal. What is your favorite tool to use while investigating?
Me?
You just use myself.
If I'm using a tool, honestly, and what people don't really think about, your phone has everything you need to investigate. Wow. You have your voice recorder. You have a camera. With that camera on some of these phones, you can do anything. You can slow it down. You can speed it up. You do anything. Why would you not use it? You know, you've got everything. Just put it on airplane mode in case there's equipment, because it'll set it off. You don't need it to be off airplane mode while you do that stuff. You can take pictures and voice record without being on. Everything you need is there. Some phones I've seen nowadays even have a grid screen that projects out so far, which I really want one of those, but I'm not going to pay for it. But yeah. It's like it projects out a little bit. That's a possibility. They make the little pin grids, which is what I have. You can throw that thing in your pocket and you just point it. I mean, you do not have to have a backpack. Well, I do, but you don't have to have a backpack full of stuff. You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars. You've got it at the palm of your hand. So that's what I do. I mean, I have the stuff, and it may not ever leave my bag.
Yeah. I can't tell you how true that is, Crystal. I mean, it rings true in the Bigfoot stuff, too. Yeah. I have camcorders. I have recorders. I have thermal. I have all kinds of this high-dollar equipment in this equipment bag that rarely gets opened because I use this.
Yeah, because it has everything.
Yeah, I film everything. I can do my thermal through my phone. I mean, I can do anything.
Now, there are some amazing equipment.
Yeah, I don't know why.
And you're going to pay an amazing price for it, and you may never use it. But with equipment, and that's just, I mean, I know a phone is man-made, and I said that earlier, but you put a lot of faith into a man-made device. You shouldn't all the time, because things set that stuff off. They are designed to do other things, like the K2, and they're not designed to pick up ghosts. They're designed to pick up electromagnetic waves and things like that. That's all. There's just a theory that they go hand in hand. Yeah. We're going with it, but we don't know that. So you're really putting a lot of faith into man-made devices. And really, if you open yourself up, you are the best device. You just got to open yourself up.
Yeah.
And some people just have gifts, but that's different. But you just got to open up. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Okay, we got two more. Miss Naoma, what's up, ma'am? Hope you're doing good. I'm curious if the person who read that chapter that night was reading NIV or the King James Version. The NIV is escaping me right now. The NIV, what is it?
New International Version.
New International
It's completely different. Like what I
The
read,
NIV would not sound familiar to someone who lived that long ago.
It was the King James version is what she was reading
right?
last
That
night.
and that would make more sense
Is
because
that
I
what
did
you read from, Tiffany?
no. It pulled up the NIV. Now the
Oh, maybe.
KJV completely different.
I'm pretty sure it was King James.
Yeah.
They read it to me when I came down because I didn't. They're like, "You've got to hear it," and I was like, "Huh? What?" And then they read it. I'd have to ask her to be sure because I felt like it was King James. It sounded different than NIV, but maybe it wasn't because that sounded a lot like it too. So that was NIV there.
It was what I read from. Now, I mean, it says the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just worded. It's worded completely different.
But it would still be the same book and chapter, no matter what time period.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
you know, it's going to be this. It would sound different, yes, but it'd still be the same. That part hasn't changed.
Right.
But I will tell you guys, in the 4 or 5 years I've been doing this now, there's just been a handful of times that I've gotten like goosebumps, and that was one when you were talking about that story and reading that verse and just everything that went with it, with the servants, and that
You
was
should have
all.
been living that moment because that was even.
Y'all were crying and stuff. I would be too. I bet I'd have been bawling with you.
It was just, you hear I didn't even know that was in the Bible, and I thought I knew the Bible, and I was like, "That's in the Bible? Like what?" Don't even know his backstory behind it, and I want to know now.
I mean, Job's like the second book, right? Right after Genesis.
No,
it's one of the very, very early. I think
it's early. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. The 5th, maybe?
No. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. Job is up there.
Scott just left. We could ask him.
Oh. Well, anyway, we're wasting too much time on this. Last question. Al Santoriga asks, when in the parlor, did you do any seance?
No.
No seance.
No.
Have you ever done a seance?
I have. We didn't. A seance to me is going like our rotations were an hour maybe, and I personally feel like if I'm going to do a real seance, it don't take an hour, but for me to feel like it's working it's going to take a little bit of time. You know, you're going to have to kind of everybody's going to have to open and talk and warm up. But no, we didn't do it. I've done them, but it really never crossed my mind. We were all just trying to. We're all excited at this point. We're all trying to do things and get something the best of the night, and I think we did. I didn't get to talk to everybody, but that door would not stay closed. It was just on demand. I mean, open the door. Open.
That's crazy. This was a really good show. Like I said, it's rare that I get kind of freaked out and goosebumpy and stuff, but it happened tonight. Crystal, do you have anything working? Anything you want to promote? Anything you want people to check out?
No, I mean, I never know where I'm going to be. Honestly, I have things scheduled. Shannon and I are going. I think it's in Morristown, to where they have a real life haunted house attraction in the Halloween time. The guy that owns it has asked us to come, and he wants to be present. Like that's his price. Like I just want to be there. And we're going to do that February 1st. It's going to be cold. There's no heat. So we got that. And I've got a few things coming up, a possible Paracon in Sandusky, Ohio in, I think, April, maybe. I've not confirmed all that yet. I'm doing a lot of traveling this year, hopefully. A lot of Indiana locations. I'm hoping to get most of all the ones I want to do in Indiana. I plan to try to do Randolph, Monroe House. There's about 3 jails I want to hit up there because jails are my favorite. I've got Edinburgh Manor, which is just 11 hours away in July. I'm pretty excited about that one because everybody who's been has had nothing but just amazing stories. It's kind of like an insane asylum kind of thing, which will be my first insane asylum other than the one in my head. So,
it'll be fun. We're having a guest on here within a few weeks who just recently went there with his team. So,
well, everybody I talked to, like the group I'm going with, they've been there and they I've not seen the video, but they have a video. I think you forgot to send it to me. Where him and another lady there just a while back. I was supposed to went on that trip and I didn't. They on camera, on video, in real time, they could see a person hang themselves. So,
Shit.
you know, and I was like, you know what? If I'd have been there, I'd have been trying to make them stop. I'd be like, you don't have to do that. Let's not do that. and like, yeah, you would. Yeah, I would. Yeah.
All
And I
right.
thought,
Well,
see where, I'm going back to Waverly. I'm going back to Waverly in June. Then we're going to Poasttown School. I've
when
got
you going to
Old
Brushy
South-
again?
I go when they open. When they open for the season, I'll be there all the time, just whenever I want. But I'm going to try to get a group together to go to Brushy if you want in on it.
Yeah, I want to go.
Yeah,
But
I'm
even
going
if
to try to
it's
make
not,
that happen this year and get on the books.
yeah.
But I'm
All
going
right.
to Poasttown, and then I'll be going to Old South Pittsburgh 2 weeks in a row, like back to back
That's my neighborhood.
in April. So I've
All
got
right,
a busy. It's not even January's not even over, and I feel like I've got most weekends booked right now. But that's good. That's a good thing.
You're a very, very busy woman. I certainly appreciate you squeezing us in tonight, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your time at Reba McIntyre's horse stall.
Yeah, I'll go up here and listen to some of this country music. I'm gonna put my cowboy boots on for this.
All right, ma'am. You enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, she's always fun.
Oh yeah.
Comes on. All right. Well, 49 minutes and we will be back at it.
Absolutely. Yep. Just enough to grab a fresh drink and go pee and
And
we'll be right
I want
back.
special thank you to Miss Chris Blaylock, sent us $40 more.
Thank you.
You're the man, Chris.
Churning and burning, man.
You're the ma'am, Chris.
You the ma'am.
All right, guys. Great show. Thank you for being respectful to our guests. You always are. We love you. We thank you for everything. And we will see you in about 45 minutes.
Yep. Come back and see us.
Bye.
Bye.